We are so happy to welcome Leslie and her insights. Leslie, welcome to Marketing for the Now. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Wow, who described me that way? I didn't describe me that way. I should describe me that way, but I didn't.
We hit up your family for that. I don't know if I heard that. Like, I don't know if my audio went off. I thought I heard Roy say CEO. So I'm just going to congratulate you on the massive promotion.
Thank you, Roy.
I thought I said CMO. Did I say CMO?
You might have. I'm telling you, it might have been my ear pods, but I heard it that way. And I was like, man.
Has anybody told Jamie Dimon that yet? I don't know. I don't know.
But maybe you want to DM him. Anyway, Leslie, it's a real pleasure to have you here. How are you? How's the family? How are you hanging in with all this?
Everything's good. Everything's good. We're hanging. I actually so enjoyed Dr. Goff. I'm a Philly girl too. So I need to catch up with him. And I have a nephew who's a second-year student at Yale, so I definitely need to catch up with him.
You definitely need to, because you want to get the good grades, and I get all that. So
completely.
Let's get right into the question that I'm very fascinated about. From your point of view, one of the biggest brands in America, how do you pivot as soon as this hits? Like what, you're fairly new into the job,
Yeah, 3 months or 3 weeks in COVID hit for me. So.
Right. So that's going to be great war. Yeah. That's going to be great war stories for your grandchildren one day. Right. How did you kind of calibrate? And actually, this might be interesting, might help people in the future. When you're 3 weeks into something this big, how much do you balance your own confidence with actually having the humility to tap into others? That might be an interesting question, because I would probably struggle with that as like a confident guy and like want to show that I'm a good leader. With something so intense and at such scale as Chase, I'm trying to think about where I would lean into humility and where I would lean into my own intuition and confidence. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's a good one. And I think being a leader first and foremost is about listening more than anything, and making sure you're surrounding yourself with people who are actually better than you in many categories, to make sure like all boats rise with the tide, right? And I can't be the smartest on every level. Some of the promotions and such that I did recently with our chief media officer, et cetera. And so I think it's a lot about, when you think about JPMorgan Chase, we're 3 brands. We're, 10 CMOs across the corporation, plus a, marketing center of excellence. And my job is really just to listen and make sure I'm enabling them to do the job we need to do for our customers and clients, because they're closer to it. So I think it's all about listening, rolling up your sleeves, making sure you're part of the team and getting involved. And as my colleague, T. Duckett, who's the CEO of the consumer bank, says, get proximate. Get proximate with what's going on. And, at every level, every economic level, this is unprecedented stuff. And so our biggest job, number one, was listening, to our customers. And as what people say and what people do sometimes aren't the same thing, right? It's kind of like qual and quant, and some of the things that we do is, but because of the speed of this unprecedented time, even looking at the data doesn't give you, there's no models that predicted going from 3.5% unemployment into high double digits in weeks, or stimulus programs, to the degree. And call centers, our inability to be able to, be there for the customer. And so we needed to make sure we were there in ways that we've never been to the degree we were before. So listening to our customers, one of the things that was super important was, social more than ever. Not just about a marketing channel and a servicing channel. It was really about getting proximate in real time. And so that was super important to us to figure out how we needed to pivot, what people were thinking. I mean, we were using everything from Google Analytics to Sprinkler to Signal to just making sure we had fingers on the pulse, obviously working closely with you guys who are the masters at it, just to make sure that we were really hearing, not just on the phones. We're also, because of the size and scale of JPMorgan Chase, over 50% of our 250,000 people were essential on the front lines in branches. I mean, we did our best to make sure that, 90% of our branches stayed open when they needed to, because people needed access to their money. And you can imagine the employees' concern, you know, like just like healthcare workers. I mean, they have families they have to go home to. You know, are we getting the plexiglass up as quickly as possible? We had drive-through only for periods of time. But so it's just, I think to your question on pivoting, one is just staying as proximate and close to customers as possible. Social was a huge ability for us to do that. Our employees were an amazing way to do that. And then it was really about how we operated. So, you know, as a team, it was, you know, at every level of the company, top down, we had daily, you know, we were all agile. I mean, you talk about agile and, you know, every company's getting there. Well, I think we all had to rip off that Band-Aid super quick. And so pivoting, you know, in that way and making sure that we were focusing on the things that our customers were talking about in that moment, payment protection programs for small businesses, making sure that we can get loans to people so that they didn't close their businesses and can pay their people. It was all those types of things in the moment, and making sure that we were overnight delivering digital capabilities and technology that if you would have asked us, could you actually do that? The answer would have been, no way. Are you kidding? We could never launch something digitally in 48 hours. Well, we did. So that's also an eyes wide open on the BS bureaucracy that we all tend to just get
process and meetings over actual actions.
Right? Yeah,
100%.
Exactly. And so, but it was total survival mode, and we were doing it on behalf of our customers and clients, and they were requiring it, and we needed to show up. So we really had no choice. And so we'll be better coming out of this. I think, you know, the other thing, you know, I really appreciated Dr. Goff and Roy, your conversation prior to this, because I think it's not just about making sure we're here for our customers, our clients, making sure our employees are safe. You know, it's also about everything that's going on in, you know, today in our communities, and all of the conversations on social and racial injustice, and us and our platform, and how we can use that for good is super important. And, you know, listening to Dr. Goff talking about, you know, the brand, it's not just about brand safety, it's about brand consciousness, right? And right, and what are we doing? And so I feel very fortunate that we, you know, Jamie Dimon, this is not a new thing. It's not like we've woken up and said, this is what we're going to do.
You've been leading.
You know, he's all about doing the right thing. You know, we committed, you know, $1.8 billion years ago, not just recently, but we're still going to do more. We're looking to do more, as we should in these times. And so it's, you know, all about, again, getting proximate. And one last thing I would say to that point is, it's, you know, not just learning about our customers, our clients, but, you know, when all the, when everything went down on, you know, George Floyd, and I think, you know, God rest his soul, he did not die in vain, because I really do believe we are going to continue to be better as a society and a community, even though, you know, this is these are challenging
forever changed.
But it's all about talking, like, you know, talking and listening. So, like, you know, I have 45 Black VP to managing directors that work in the marketing organization, and I spoke to every one of them. And that's not just about me. We all did that as a, you know, and it's all about ongoing conversations, and it's emotional, and it's raw, and it's painful. And I've been in business for 30 years, and I feel like a filter's been lifted. Like, where have I been? I didn't know Juneteenth. I mean, I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
That wasn't something I understood.
Yeah.
But when we understood it, we were one of the very few banks to close, you know, on the afternoon, and, you know, and take over, you know, Blackout Tuesday, and take over our properties, and, you know, and try to do our part in getting involved in the conversation, because that's the only way.
And Leslie, I think to your point, and this goes down to leadership, it's not just putting a black box on your Instagram one day, or closing the branches for a half a day in the afternoon, which, by the way, is a pretty big business move in the scheme of things, pretty advanced in comparison to others.
On a payday, by the way, and that was really hard, but it was the right decision.
And I think the question becomes, you know, 12 months from now, 19 months from now, it's about fixing the well, not the sink. And I think all of us are looking deep on that. Roy, any questions for our incredible CMO here?
Curious. Well, first off, thank you for the Juneteenth move. It is my goal to make Juneteenth a paid month off. I don't know how we're going to do this, but if JPMorgan Chase wants to be the first to take that step.
Move it to August, because, you know, everybody's trying to take off. We're trying to become like Europe in America. I could not believe how many out of office replies I got last year in August. I grew up in the wine business, Roy, and I would literally try to buy wine for the holidays in August when I was a kid, when I first got in the game, and Italy, France, Spain, and I'm like, where are these people? And then finally somebody said, oh, Europe doesn't work in August. I'm like, what?
They're chilling. Leslie, talk to me real quick. How is your relationship? How is the company's relationship changed with small businesses during the COVID crisis, and as that's going to continue to evolve for small businesses?
Yeah, I mean, it's well, first and foremost, we have over 4 million small businesses that we serve every day. And, you know, and we did everything we could. It was a crazy time, I think, you know, between government and the banks trying to, and you couldn't move fast enough to try and make sure, you know, there's 20% of them that will really never come back. And in Black and brown communities, that's even more, you know, harder hit. And
Correct.
So it's super important. I mean, you know, we were on the front lines. We feel we did everything we could in the moment. Can we continue to do better? I don't think it's in our rear view mirror. One of our things, Roy, it's not just about, you know, our small business CEO, Jen Roberts, but as it relates to our foundation and some of the things that we do in the community, you know, leaning in for small businesses is one of our 4 pillars, along with affordable housing and financial health and jobs and skills. And so, you know, so we feel like we have an incredibly important job. They're our clients every day, and they're the livelihood of the economy, right? Over 70% of the jobs. And so, so that's our job as a large financial institution to make sure that we're doing our part. And so listening, being out there, making sure that we're providing them real-time information besides their loans is just, you know, people are cash flow. They're looking for information right now. And so again, it's just making sure, are we being as relevant as we can, along with, you know, being in the communities and doing our part as a financial institution. So, so it's an incredibly important role that we play, and we will, and we lean in and continue to play.
Stop.
We appreciate it, Les. Thank you so much for getting with us this morning.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
Talk to you soon. Of course. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.